The kids are home, the desk is a mess, the balcony door is open, but I'm going to film myself in my junk journal anyway. So let's see how that goes. Gonna be a lot of honk honk and a lot of wah. Hopefully not, hopefully not. But you just never know. Yesterday I went to a really fun junk journaling sort of get together at a local boutique, and it was my first time at a crafty get together, and it was really just so cute and so fun, and it's so nice to be sort of surrounded by other paper cutting lovers, other, you know, people that just want to make stuff. Oh yeah, let's see how long we last with this door open. I am creating, hopefully, I'm hoping to create a spread here that is sort of a spin-off of this, which was a Mother's Day card that my husband gave me, I think last year. Yeah, last year. And it's really hard to keep cards. I still haven't figured out a way to like keep them all in the same place without hole punching them into a binder, or without using plastic page protectors, which would require me to pull it out if I wanted to read it. And then I just thought, I don't know, just put them in your junk journal. And so that's what I'm doing. Oh God. That is so loud, it's annoying me. There's no way that this will be okay. So let's take one distraction out of the way and close the balcony door. Cheese and crackers. I live on a major street and I don't regret it. It's convenient living on in the neighborhood that we live in. And I am a city girl through and through, so you won't catch me complaining about city noises or sounds. I'm just used to it. Born and raised in Brooklyn, so honestly, sometimes when it's too quiet, it unsettles me a little bit. I feel safer when I hear that the world is worlding out there. If you're wondering, I'm using, just to kind of add to this floral situation that she has on her head, I'm adding more florals and maybe just trying to make this really just like a happy spread, a happy celebration of me as a mother. And I'm using my DIY ephemera. A lot of these I've already shared in a previous video, which I will link, where I taught you how to draw simple flowers and simple leaves. And of course, I go ahead and make tons more in my own free time. If you remember, I showed you how to make these cute little flower lips or lippy florals, whatever. So I have them all here, along with some more sketchy ones that I've done, and I can share with you how I made those in another video. If you're interested, let me know. Also at the very bottom, I'm not sure why, oh, she's cute. Let's see if I can get her out. Look, she's cute. Also at the very bottom are my little people, just like, I don't know who these characters are, but they're fun and slouchy, just like me. These are a variation of the illustrations that I lovingly call my rag dolls. So this is a perfect example of my rag dolls, and they're just faceless characters that I like to draw. And so I just decided to print them for myself so that I can use them in my own creations. She is more of like a hybrid of a rag doll. She's got the rag doll hair, but she's actually showing her face, which typically my rag dolls do not. Here's another character. Anyway, these are all just little characters that I draw in my sketchbooks, and I decided to print them so that I can have them for myself, because I'm honestly tired of looking for ephemera that resonates with me and not finding it. And you know, the things that I draw might not resonate with anyone else, but it really doesn't matter, because what matters is what you like in your journal, and that's what you should have. And so if you can draw, I say print out your drawings, but also use magazines. That's my favorite thing to use. So anyways, that's where I am pulling for this spread. And yeah, so I'm just gonna continue gabbing as I figure out what I'm doing, which I have zero clue, but I want it to look very botanical. You know, like maybe they're taking a walk in the middle of a gorgeous botanical garden. And so as such, I feel like it has to have like so many flowers all around, right? And I don't know, maybe some of them need to be like on top of her to tie everything together. So which means that I would have to cut off that stem, but that's okay. And I'm gonna try and get like a variety of colors. I'm realizing that when I did a lot of these flowers, I chose very similar colors. So note to self, the next time I'm making a batch of anything, try to have a variety of colors, because this would have been very helpful if it were more red instead of fuchsia. I don't think that I really have that many different colors. Let's sneak this blue one in though. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. Do I need some more leafies over here? So my family just visited this past week, and it was really lovely. As I mentioned, born and raised in Brooklyn. Sorry, I'm gonna fix my seat. I don't know why my husband is so obsessed with adjusting the arms to my seat, as if he's sitting here. I like my arms down. Anyway, yeah, born and raised in Brooklyn. So my immediate family still lives there, for the exception of my nephew, who moved here the January before last. And it's just been really great to have someone that comes from where I come from that is also living in the city, and I get to see him frequently, and it's always awesome. So I'm going to try and keep the placement as is so I can get the, hold on. Oh my God, how do these people do it? These people that craft in real time. This is the kind of stuff that I try to spare you, is me thinking. Because then we get into trouble. Because I'm gonna be 48 this summer. And as beautiful as it is to have been granted the privilege of living this long, and God willing, much, much longer, your brain goes through some things, and my hormones and my brain are going through some things, and talking and doing at the same time, oof, you're asking me for way too much. So in any case, I'm trying to keep the placement relatively, you know, in place. That way I know that when I put her in, there won't be anything peeking out or around her where there shouldn't be. And I'm really tempted to go get my, what's it called? Glitter glue? Art glitter glue. Because that one is super strong and dries really fast. I'm new to using this Barely Art. I just wanted to give it a try. Those are two glues that people in the crafting community talk about a lot. Art glitter glue and Barely Art. And so I've been very pleased with my art glitter glue. It is a glue where a little bit goes a long way. It dries super fast. It dries clear. I have not experienced any wrinkling, and probably that is also due to the fact that a little bit goes a long way. So it's really hard to wrinkle when you haven't had to overdo it with the glue to get the glue to stick. You know what I'm saying? Prior to trying out, I'm going to trim this one though, scissors. Prior to trying out the art glitter glue, I was and am still a fan of Aleene's, and I just found this one. I'm pretty sure I got it at Michael's because it has more of a precision tip, and I don't know if they always had it and maybe I just now noticed it, or they've caught on to the fact that many crafters like to / need to use a precision tip. And so I wanted to give this one a try, hoping that it is the same stick as the average Aleene's that you can also find. By the way, I don't know if it's Aleene's or Aleene's, but you know, you get what I'm saying. You can often find Aleene's at Dollar Tree. Most times that's where I get mine. Anytime I'm at Dollar Tree, there are certain things that I am on the lookout for. One of them is the Aleene's, and I typically will take at least 2 bottles because they last a long time. Again, it's very strong glue. A little goes a long way. I would say the difference between Aleene's and art glitter glue is that Aleene's is so much thicker that you really, you know, it's really working your hand muscles to press it, like to squeeze the bottle. Whereas the art glitter glue squeezes with minimal effort. And for that matter, that is proving to be true also for the Barely Art glue. But for $1, you really cannot complain. And so I just deal with it. Okay? And on the days where my hands can't do the squeezing, then I'll use the art glitter glue because there is a price difference. So if the art glitter glue, as awesome as it is going to be more costly, then, you know, it's not always in our budget to splurge on glue when another glue will do the job. Maybe you just, you know, maybe the bottle doesn't squeeze as easily, but the glue comes out, okay? It works. And also it depends on how big of a cut you do on the tip of the glue. So if I can show you, for example, I have this other Aleene's. I said I liked Aleene's and I meant it. And for this one, I hope you can see it. I made a pretty significant sized puncture, and yet still not as big as it can be, because typically what I would do is just cut off the whole tip, and then that kind of leaves a gaping hole. And so when you cut it off like that, the glue is going to come out fairly easily no matter what. But I find that that dispenses way too much glue for what I need. And again, in my experience, when you get a lot of glue, you're more likely to get wrinkling or warping. So I prefer to disperse a little less. Okay, we're still good. And which is why I try to just puncture the tip of the, whatever you call that thing, of the bottle. And kind of go from there versus just straight cutting it with the scissor, and then you're kind of stuck with however big the hole ends up being, and then you really have to mitigate however a situation or whatever situation that creates for dispensing your glue. So just some things that you figure out along the way of crafting, little frustrations that you learn the hard way, and maybe I can spare you. But yeah, again, I used Aleene's for a long time. I'm still a great fan, still use it. And what I like to do is when I need something to be super precise, I will use my art glitter glue, or now the Barely Art, and that has the option of changing the top of your glue bottle to a precision tip. And so when I need precise application, I'll go to those. But if I don't need precise application, I stick to my Aleene's because A, it's cheap, and B, it's really strong glue. It's great glue. So a good thing to do when you're figuring out which glue is going to work for you is to just like test it out on different mediums that you're going to be gluing it to. So if you're going to be gluing, for example, right now, I have 3 different types of paper here. I've got this grocery bag paper. This is watercolor paper, and it's actually quite thick. And then this is cardstock. And I feel like this one, yeah, this is cardstock as well. And not all cardstocks are the same. So you just want to see what it is that you're going to be gluing. See, I just did that with Aleene's, and I just held it down for a few seconds and it glued really well. I'm going to go ahead and do the same with these parts. Just put some of my Aleene's. I describe myself as someone who is selectively cheap. And that means that if it's worth it, I believe, you know, in getting something that's going to be worth it in the end, you know, in investing, I guess, if you will. But I don't like to be wasteful, you know, and so if I don't have to use my most expensive glue for certain areas, you best believe that I'm not gonna do it. So for this outer area, I do want to use, I feel like I want to use the thicker Aleene's. Let's see if she can do it. Can you do it? Let's see. And also, yeah, like different kinds of paper. So this is sort of like a really thick cardstock, and it's very toothy. So it's harder to glue because the glue has to reach the nooks and crannies of that texture. So let's see how this Aleene's does. This is a test, I guess, that we're doing together. I'm just trying to get into all these little corners as best as I can. I think that this is the perfect amount of glue dispensed for a glue bottle of this size. So I'm pretty happy with my choice to puncture the applicator instead of just cutting it. Put my lady down and hold her in place. I mean, and honestly, anytime that you're gluing something that you really need to make sure that it sticks down, the best thing that you could do is give it time, add some weight on top of it, you know, put a stack of books or a dumbbell, I don't know, whatever you might have that can add some weight to it. I'll be honest, sometimes depending on the project, I just sit on it while I move on to the next thing. This could be a good thing to sit on, to be honest. I would just close it and then just sit on it while I work on the next thing. And then by the time I'm done with the next thing, I can remove it from under my lady lumps as, what's her name? Fergie. Ferg. So yeah, whatever method you choose to do, this is a judgment-free zone. I'm just telling you the options, okay, friend? But she's down pretty well enough. It's a junk journal. This is not meant to last my whole life. Okay, I want to do on the other side as well. Oh, check this out, actually. This is a tattoo for our 14-year wedding anniversary. So we've been together 14 years. Well, wait, we've been married 14 years, together double that, 28. For our anniversary, one of the things that my husband did was create photo tattoos for us. So for the weekend of our anniversary, the four of us all had this tattoo on our arms, and it's so funny and so cute, but also like the quality of that tattoo, right? So I'm gonna do an anniversary spread, and I'm gonna put it somewhere in there for obvious reasons. Okay, so then I've got some nice things that he wrote for me, and I'm not sure that I necessarily want to show them, but I don't think he'd care. But for now, let me just see what we're gonna do over here. I want it to be, I don't know, just dreamy, you know? Just dreamy, like she's walking in a botanical garden. And there is an amazing greenhouse near me. I mean, I'm just going to repeat the same ephemera, and I think that's okay. There's a beautiful greenhouse near us that we like to go to. I don't think it's really called a greenhouse. I think it's called an observatory. I don't know. And it's just so peaceful to walk in there, and it's awesome because, you know, it is a perfect summer temperature year long. So on the colder months of winter, that's a great place to go to. I had a mom friend who has since passed away. And that was her favorite place to go to, especially in the winter months. And I remember that when we had maybe first started talking more and getting to know each other somewhat. I say somewhat because we switched schools, and you know how that goes. You kind of get busy in your own world and stuff. But we were chatting, and you know, one day, and she was just telling me that she was on her way to the observatory, that it was her favorite place. And I hadn't gone yet, so I was like, the who, the what? And she was like, oh my God, you have to go. It's just like, it's beautiful, and it's always warm, which is amazing for winter. And it took me a while to finally go there, because one thing about me is that I am a creature of habit, and I go to the same places, you know, if it ain't broke. And I need to do a better job at kind of branching out and exploring more of my surroundings, because there is so much more that the city has to offer that I have seen. But I am an anxious personality, and so sometimes more options just means overwhelm for me. And so I tend to stick to what I know, because it is where I am most comfortable. Now, that doesn't mean that if someone were to take me somewhere new that I would be anxious or that I wouldn't enjoy it. It just means that if I have to get myself somewhere that is new, it really honestly depends on the situation. It depends on my mental state for that day. I think this is gonna be how I'm gonna have this one. And then I think I might add some of the sentiments from the original card. So, mental snapshot, and let's see if I can achieve the goal here. Okay. Oh boy. I hope this doesn't drive you too crazy, just me speaking so slowly, because creating and talking is hard. How do these people do it? What was I saying? So yeah, like it depends, I guess, on how I'm feeling on any particular day, because I don't know, if you're someone like me, I'm almost certain I've not been officially diagnosed yet. I really need an evaluation, but I'm almost certain that I have ADHD. And And I know that I have, that I live with anxiety and depression, which is something that, if I may say so myself, I believe that I manage really well. And by manage, I mean, I do what I have to do. I have my therapy, I have my medication, and I am sure to employ my coping tools, this being one of them. Creativity is my number one coping tool for my mental health. But knowing that about myself means that I acknowledge that on certain days, I am more likely to try something new. And on certain days, I am more likely to not. On certain days, I am more likely to go on a solo adventure. And on other days, I am not. On other days, I need to be told where do I have to be and when. And, you know, that's just who I am. Or I guess how I am. It's not necessarily who I am. It's how I am sometimes, not even all the time. Because on the best days, I am a freaking rock star. But on the days where, you know, my internal stars are not aligning, then, you know, it gets a little bit more complex. And that's okay. I'm teaching myself that no feeling is permanent. And for as much as I might have days where it's tricky and I might struggle, there are far more days where I am okay, I am coping, and there are even some days, many days even, that I'm doing fairly well. And then there are those really special days where I'm actually kicking ass. And so that's why it's important for me to remind myself that no feeling is permanent. Today I am feeling, you know, it's a mixed bag these days. There's so much going on in the world, and not all of it is beautiful. Much of it is ugly, quite frankly. And so it's a mixed bag, but that is if I zoom out. And I zoom out occasionally because I need to be informed. I need to bear witness. I need to be an upstander in the world. That's just how I was built. But if we're zooming in, all the way in to my circle and the things that are immediately in my control, then I'm doing pretty well today, friend. And I'm here sharing something that I love and really believe in, which is creativity and journaling and sharing and having or creating a safe space to be myself and to welcome others to be themselves. And when I think of that, then I'm freaking thriving, because you're here. So I kind of wish that I had put the yellow underneath and the pink on top, because now I really don't want to cover the pink. So I'll just keep messing around and see what happens. But I hope that this video finds you well today, friend, because as I've said, there's so much going on in the world, and we just can't assume that everyone is enjoying rainbows and unicorns. I don't know, maybe it doesn't need that much on this side. Hi. Just a few. Thank you for knocking. That's really nice of you. Slowly but surely, I feel like my kids are understanding that their mother is a content creator, darling. She needs respect as such. No, you know, usually it's just, I try not to film when my family is home because I get stressed out thinking of all the editing that I'll have to do. But seeing as I'm not doing that and I am just going to let the chips fall where they may, then maybe this is a more graceful way of accomplishing the goal of sharing. But of course, count on my kids to choose the day that I've accepted the noise to actually knock and be really thoughtful about how they approach me. Put some respect on my name. This is what happens when I don't edit myself. Things just get really loosey-goosey, and it's either something that you're into or something that you're not. So I hope that you're into it, because this is what it is when I'm not edited. Which honestly, I prefer. This is what I prefer. So if it's well received, there will be more, because we just gotta live these days, friend. Ooh, cover this. They give you this little needle. It comes along with your glue so that you can make sure that that precision tip doesn't get clogged. And you want to try and not lose the specific needle that they give you, because it is stainless steel. And sure, you can use any other whatever kind of needle these are. You can use any kind of pin or whatever to unclog it, but I wouldn't use any pin to leave it there, because it will rust overnight. And the first squeeze of glue will be brown. And I don't think that that affects the efficacy of the glue. I learned that word in 1995 at Bath and Body Works. No, at the Body Shop. Okay, I digress. ADHD. I don't think it affects the efficacy of the glue. It's just kind of like a little icky watching brown glue come out, but it's only like for the first squeeze, and then it just goes back to being white. But whatever. Don't lose that thing. Do I like this? I don't think so. But let me see what I'm gonna do here. Maybe I want to get like a fun scissor. Sorry. Just do this. I think these are called like crimping scissors. I think this will give me a nice little situation. So yeah, my family was visiting and it was super nice. Wait, I'm so all over the place. Didn't I start telling you about going to a crafty meetup? But I feel like I'm done with that story. My family came to visit over 4th of July weekend. And it was so great because I can't tell you the last time I had a 4th of July barbecue with my entire family. Like my husband, my children, mom, brother, nephew, sister-in-law. And again, that's only my side of the family. Of course, there's more family. But it was so nice, not only to be with my family for 4th of July weekend, but to be doing it at my nephew's place. So my nephew lives relatively within walking distance from where I live in Chicago, which is awesome. But his building is kind of really amazing building, and they have this amazing outdoor space with a great pool and barbecues that you can sign up to reserve and use, plenty of patio seating, a basketball court, just like a great space. And so it was going to be there, and bonus, my brother did the grilling. We literally had to do nothing but show up, which sometimes can feel a little bit like, well, damn, we're not even going to help. But it was just so nice to show up somewhere instead of, having to be the host. It's nice to host, but when you have small children, hosting is such an undertaking. There's so much cleaning, and I don't know. Uh, some solidarity would be appreciated. Tell me your feelings on hosting family. Some people really thrive in hosting, and I love that for you. I'm just not one of them. Oh, I'm really struggling here. This is where I wish this is why I edit things. I try to spare you of my struggles. Now I'm gonna be covering this whole thing. She's annoyed. Well, what I can do is not cover it, but just I'm gonna hinge this. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, because otherwise I'll be so annoyed. Okay, we'll come back to you. And let's just keep adding these flowers. So yeah, so we grilled, and then it was kind of like an early night. We weren't really out much. I wasn't really too eager to deal with 4th of July madness, with traffic and crowds and the such. So I think that it was a good idea for us to just go over there, have a nice little barbecue, and then fortunately from our 4th floor apartment, we can often see the fireworks, and that was the case again this past 4th of July, and so we were able to enjoy the fireworks from the comfort and safety of our living room. Ooh, she's a nice long one. Did you guys go out for the 4th of July? I'd love to know. And if you have a super incredible fireworks view, I'd also love to know, even if just to live vicariously through you. We used to live in this apartment that had a great rooftop deck for, essentially the entire community. I don't think everyone really went, but yeah, it was an amazing rooftop deck, and all the amenities were up there. And so when we lived there, we used to go up there all the time, and it was beautiful. And to the point where my husband was like, I wonder if the code still works. But I'm such a rule follower that I would never even dare to try. So, but it probably does. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They probably changed the codes. I would hope that they would change the codes for the safety of other tenants, but I'm just looking for more color. Do I like this? Let me look at it through the screen. It's not my favorite. Something is up. I think maybe let's put you here and you here. It could work. Oh, but then where am I going to do my journaling? Hello? I think I'm going to leave you there. And then I'll put you here. And you. Just those two. And as much as it's not my favorite, that's what's going to happen. And then I can journal here. Okay. So about this journal specifically, I'm pretty sure that you can tell that I made it using paper bags. And I think one of my favorite things to upcycle would have to be a paper bag, because you can use it endlessly for so many things. In fact, when I was a kid in school, some of us used paper bags to cover our textbooks because textbooks did not have a reputation for looking the best, but also when schools would get new textbooks, the goal was to preserve their condition for as long as possible. So one of the things that we always had to do whenever we started a new school year was to cover our textbooks. Now, some kids had store purchased textbook covers, and other kids had paper bag or maybe even some newspaper textbook covers, which I can't imagine how newspaper would fare very well, but I think they would also cover the newspaper with like a plastic cover, so like a clear cover. In any case, at the time that I had to do this, I remember that it felt like having the paper bag book cover felt to be like the cringy, embarrassing one to have, which is such a shame because it's the most eco-friendly one. But you know, the 80s. And now I freaking would love to cover my book in a paper bag because you get to customize it. You can draw on it, you can write on it, and like really show your individuality, collage on it. Jesus, it's I wish I could go back and smack myself. Just kidding. Yeah, so but and these days, yes, I would use it to cover a book if I needed to. I would use it to make a notebook, to make postcards, to make little paper gift card holders. Oh gosh, so many things. Bookmarks, journaling spots. I cannot get rid of a paper bag. Don't worry, don't imagine me, you know, like insanely hoarding, although I feel like if I had more space, I could be at risk. I could be at risk. I am not judging. But I'm also someone who gets really triggered, like my anxiety gets triggered by what I call visual noise. That might be a term. I'm not coining that term, but I don't really hear many people say it. But I feel like I say it often. If I see too many things laying around, it starts to make me feel really overwhelmed. So I don't know that I'm the best candidate for hoarding in the way that we see it on TV, but perhaps I can be a very organized one where everything is sorted and labeled into bins. But I do try and use my paper bags as quickly as possible. And so, which is why I'm really in love with this journal, because it's just, it allows me to use, I think I use almost an entire paper bag to make this, because the outer part and the pages. And so I love it so much, and I'm having such a fun time playing in here. And in some strange woo-woo way, it feels like honoring the bag. It feels like honoring what might be considered trash and giving it new life and new purpose and a place on my bookshelf. And in turn, or by association, I feel like that honors the trees that it came from. And then that also honors nature, which honors the universe, which honors everything. This is why I don't do videos like this. This is bananas. Okay, I'm gonna do a bit of journaling, and for that, I will not speak because I can't. And I'm gonna try and do my Rebel font because I've just been loving it lately. I'm gonna use this pen that I got at that crafty meetup, and there was a bunch of supplies that she shared with everyone who attended, and I love this color. I love neon. And I tried it yesterday and it actually writes really well. So let me think about what I want to write and BRB. Okay, so I've written my journaling. It's not necessarily private, so I'm going to read it to you because typically you would be able to read it for yourself, but I don't think that the glare is going to let you. And it's just something that I wrote for my children, as this is a Mother's Day card. And it says, I blinked and you were no longer a baby. What a gift to know you, to hear your first words and now enjoy your spirited banter. You're such a light. At times it's been your light that has led me forward and kept me strong. What a joy you are in my life. What a lesson in love. My heart is bigger because of you. I love you always, Mom. Aww. But it's true, it's true, it's true. If you're a parent, then I think you know. And so what I've decided to do with the card, as I said, I'm going to tip it in. And for that, I'm just going to, because I did this border, I don't know that I like it necessarily by itself as a tip-in, especially because then that means it's going to show the back, which is no pretty. It's not pretty. So I'm gonna sort of, there's a word for this. I'll think about it as I cut. When you create a border for something, oh, it's called like photo matting. Yeah, so I'm going to mat it so that it also just doesn't look so plain hinged next to so much decoration. I feel like it would just look too plain. So I'm not measuring, I'm just using the card itself to cut off the excess and end up with the size that I need. I'm not going to round the corners, although I feel like I can hear Anna screaming through her TV to round the corners, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm going to use my Aleene's because this doesn't have to be perfect, and it does not need to be lined up necessarily. No, it does need to be lined up. What am I talking about? It just, the glue doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So I'm just gonna scribble it all over the place and now try to center it as best I can. Aleene's does have a little bit of wiggle. You have like maybe 5 or 6 seconds of wiggle time if you need to correct yourself and like recenter whatever it is that you're gluing. But then once it's done, it is done. It is there forever. Yeah, and so I think I'm gonna hinge it in here. I'm just gonna hinge it with tape. And that will do the job. Let's get the good stuff. Where is the good stuff? I like to use this guy for hinging because it's just nice and thick and I feel like I have a better chance of it not going anywhere. Regular Scotch tape would work. If you're not covering anything in the background, of course, washi tape would work. I would recommend you reinforce your washi tape with some glue because, you know, you might find that a week later it's already wanting to peel off, but washi tape can be really cute for hinging. I just don't always use it because it is not always permanent and that can be really frustrating. So I'm gonna do this here and see, this is why I like it, because I get a nice thick hinge. Oh, I did it on the wrong side. It doesn't matter. In fact, it might even be better. I hope I'm not out of frame. Sheesh. Okay, so I'm gonna just fold it back a little bit and then kind of put it exactly where I want it to be so that it could turn the page nicely. And just try and get it into the crevice first. The crevasse? Just try and get it, you know, get it in there pretty well. And now you see I can still read my journaling, and you really can't even see it that much. What I should have done, and I did not, sorry if I shook you, is I wanted to write something here. I'm still gonna write it, but it's just gonna annoy me a little bit, but I'll get over it. And I'm gonna do a little bit in the front, but the front, I think I can just do it with Scotch tape because I already feel confident that Big Bertha in the back is holding it down for us. And I'm not even using brand name Scotch tape. I'm using Dollar Tree Scotch tape. I mean, that is a brand. Or is it? Okay, so then that gives me perfect hinge. Love her, love her. And then we got like this like little peekaboo flower action going on. I was looking around here and I wondered if I would be so bold as to tie in the orange by either doing a little border or drawing more flowers. Let's do the border. And we're just gonna go, and it's like a sloppy border. It's not, it's just to tie in the orange pen. And this is sometimes like a little sloppy border is just kind of a fun, carefree, loose way to add interest and add detail, or in this case, connect certain details with minimal effort. And I feel like that then ties in the orange to both sides. Now the question is, do I? Yes, I do. I think I'll continue the border over here as well. And this to me is indicating that both spreads are part of the same story. Cool. I still feel like there's opportunity for more here, but I don't know what that is right now, and so I am going to stop here. I can always go back and add more, so it doesn't have to be right now. In fact, I got these really cute butterfly stickers yesterday at that meetup, and that I feel like would make a lot of sense here if I could find them, but I can't, and I'm not gonna look for them. The only thing that I wanted to put here is something that I say a lot, especially as it relates to my kiddos, and I think I'm gonna hand letter it with this Pentel brush pen that I got at a nearby craft store, a local craft store. I'm really trying to shop locally more, and it makes it that much easier when I have local shops near me because I don't drive. And it just so happens that it sort of matches. Okay, so do I do pencil first? I mean, typically that is what I do because I feel better if I know that the composition is gonna work out. Like, it's just that, is it gonna fit? Not so much, is it gonna fit perfectly? Okay, so now that I've done it in pencil, it shows, I can see that I can go a little bit higher and give myself a little bit more space. So that's what I'm gonna do. And now that I've got that idea, I'm going to erase most of it using a kneaded eraser. You could use a regular eraser. I find that a kneaded eraser leaves just enough in the background for me to be able to see it without leaving so much that it's an eyesore. So I just roll it over the pencil, and you can see it takes away most of it, and you can kind of rub it like this too. And it takes away most of the lead and leaves behind a good shadow. And then you can go back in and like erase with more detail, but as I said, I need the shadow to the pencil marks to let me know where my letters are going to fit. So I try not to erase it all the way so that I can still see the marks that I've made for myself. So I can still see it. Not sure if you can. Let me look up. I don't know. If you're watching me on TV, maybe you will be able to see it, but according to my phone, you cannot see. And what I do for my Rebel font is that I form the letters backwards as compared to the way that we're taught in school. So you can see just by paying attention that I start from the bottom instead of starting from the top. At this point, I'm gonna stop talking though, because one thing I cannot do without messing up is to talk and letter. The A's are the only ones that I don't do from the bottom to the top because I haven't figured out how to do it yet. I still need to practice it. And so I've given myself permission to not follow my own rules for the A. You do what you want, friend. The last thing I want to do is put the date, which is something that I am notorious for forgetting to do. And today is, what is today's date? As you can tell, I am not journaling chronologically. I've decided to also give myself permission to take that responsibility off of my back, my mind, whatever. Because sometimes I can't, oftentimes I can't. And so it's easier for me to enjoy the act of junk journaling if I can do it however and whenever I want. And so I'm journaling about Mother's Day from last year in July of this year. And that is okay. I love how this turned out. I had no idea that this is where it was headed. I definitely did not foresee this as being a hinged card with journaling in the back. I did not foresee this journaling here. I really enjoy how this turned out, and I think there's still room for some more detail, but I also like the thought of just letting it be beauty on top of recycled bags and packaging. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and maybe you worked alongside me, since it's a much longer video than I typically would post. I hope that you're well. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friend. I like my arms down. She's annoyed. Ah. Aww. But it's true, it's true, it's true.